Hi, my name is Steve Kerrigan. I'm the Executive Director at the Gallagher Bluedorn, and we thought we'd take a few minutes and tell you a little bit about our upcoming season. I am joined here by my associate, Blake Argetsinger, who has been working on this season for the last 6 months, and we're really excited to share some ideas about it with you. We're starting off the right way with some rock and roll, and so something you need to know about me is that I graduated in about 1981 from high school. And so right about then, some of my favorite songs got kind of locked in my head, and it might show up in some of these rock and roll shows. Blake, you probably have a different relationship to vintage rock and roll.
Yeah, I experienced these secondhand, and more recently secondhand because Steve's been singing them in the office nonstop and has been placing in the little earworms of some great tunes nonetheless, but that stick with you for days on end.
And I love these rockers because these really are songs that so many people know. We know the words, we can sing along. For many of us, they were the soundtrack of our lives. And we start off right at the beginning of the summer with Air Supply. Now, Air Supply might not be everybody's idea of vintage rock because they're pretty on the soft side. But I will tell you that we hear again and again from our patrons that the love songs of Air Supply launched many relationships and probably a few families as well. And so if you want the perfect date night this summer, be it All Out of Love, Lost in Love, The One You Love, Making Love Out of Nothing at All, these are the songs that were sort of the soundtrack of the romances of our lives for a while there. And so it's a perfect date night and a great way to start the summer. Blake, do you know any of those songs?
These are songs that they're so ingrained in pop culture. I mean, if you've watched a movie, you've probably heard one of these songs.
Very true. Very true.
I mean, it's everywhere. And games like Rock Band have, catapulted these classic rock genres. So any age group, any generation has heard these songs.
That's great. Well, Kansas is our second one. That's a little later in the summer, but Kansas, of course, is an iconic band. And for me, some of the music that they performed really was a sort of theme music for my life.
Dust in the Wind.
Dust in the Wind!
Yeah.
But also Carry On My Wayward Son is the one I was thinking of.
Sure.
Carry On My Wayward Son, which is, again, it's an anthem.
It is.
But Dust in the Wind is a huge one. And so many of their songs, they had more than 20 top 40 songs. And we tend to think of the one that's on the top of our lips. And then we go to a concert, and again and again and again, they're playing that same great music. Again, all songs we know, they might just not be top of mind.
Yeah. And, as we program them, I know you've said this many times that we always look for the bands that still have it, that
right.
still have their voice and can put on a fantastic show.
Right. So, there's two reasons to go on the road. One, because you love music and you want to keep performing. The other reason that you continue to stay on the road is because you need a new swimming pool. And I don't think we should ever hire anybody who needs a new swimming pool. They've got to be good. They've still got to have it. They've still got to be able to hit the notes. They've still got to be able to tune it up. One of the great things about Air Supply and Kansas both is they still hit those high notes. Kansas in particular is known for its musicianship. The guitar work that Kansas does is every bit as good as now, and probably better in some cases than they played when they were in the middle of their heyday or just coming up. So Kansas should be a great show. And then this fall, we go back to the ladies. And we bring actor and rock and roll star Rick Springfield.
Yep, from Australia.
From Australia originally, but he's been in the U.S. for 45 years, so he's probably earned some citizenship there.
Sure.
But again, Jesse's Girl is a pop anthem that will stick with everybody. He had, I think it was 13 or 14 top 40 hits. So he's got more music than Jesse's Girl. It's one of the things that's neat about these rock groups is some of their songs were so big. I mean, they really were like the song of their year. They got so much airplay that it almost pushes out the rest of their catalog.
Yeah. And what I love about these classic rock shows is that the audience, they already come in wanting to have a ton of fun.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Exactly
the build-up.
right.
I mean, it's like they've been waiting decades to see this band. It's a bucket list item,
Right, exactly right. One of the things, and this happens for other shows at the Gallagher Blue One, but the experiences you have at one of these is something you've wanted to do your whole life, and Gallagher's so perfect for it. You know, you're 10, 15, 30 feet away from these rock and roll icons that you've only seen on TV.
Right.
And then you have that experience, and people take it for their, they tell stories about it for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I really think when we talk about Rick Springfield in particular, his acting career has become so big. He's got a star on Hollywood Boulevard. He's been on a lot of TV lately, a lot of HBO TV, been a recurring character. He was on in a movie with Meryl Streep recently. And for all of that, he's maintained that kind of charisma and those sort of molten good looks. My wife still squeals when Rick Springfield comes on, and I think you'll find that your wife and maybe you will have the same experience.
Sure.
Well, we got to tell people how to get tickets to these shows.
Absolutely. Tickets for these summer shows are on sale for Kansas and Air Supply. They're currently on sale, and you can purchase them at gbpac.com or call our Unitix box office or stop by any Unitix box office location at Gallagher Blue Dorn or the McLeod Center.
And I think that runs 8:30 to 5?
Yeah. Yep.
So some people do like to come in person and sort of pick out their tickets personally.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, Rick Springfield is part of the new 1819 Artist Series, and tickets go on sale to the public on June 8th.
Or you can join friends and get early access, which I'd encourage people to do because especially some of these shows will sell out. And if you want to have that once-in-a-lifetime experience, you might want to get closer to the front.
Yeah, so if you'd like to learn more about the Friends of the Gallagher Blue Dorn, you can go to gbpac.com/friends.
Great. Thanks, Blake.